Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Ride Algorythm. This board features Ride's directional twin standard camber, which is more rocker in the nose, a dominant camber section from outside the insert pack to outside the insert pack with a smaller rocker in the tail. Basically, directional cam rocker. The camber section is going to give you all the load, pop, snap, and drive of the snowboard, but you're going to get ease of entry in and out of turns from those rocker zones, as well as more optimal powder float. This board is available in 147, 151, 154, 157, 161, 155 wide, 160 wide, 164 wide. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a sunny bluebird day that had sustained winds. There was ice, chop, chunder, and perfect hero snow on the groomers, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. The overall flex of this board comes in just past a middle of the road all mountain freestyle flex. So you have a stiffer section through the middle where that camber is, and then it's slightly softer out in the tip and the tail. The nose will feel slightly softer due to having a more elongated rocker in it. And then between the feet, you have the torsional flex. It's there. You're going to be able to notice it when you twist it. Overall, this board is very reactive due to the carbon in it. So there's a lot of rebound in it. When it comes to stability, it's a little more lively than the shadow band. So what you do is you actually feel that kinetic energy coming through that carbon going right underfoot. You're just going to feel that reaction under there. So you might want to keep your knees just slightly bent. But in really rutted out terrain, this board actually plows through everything with relative ease. You don't have to worry about it. It's not going to get you bucked around. It's just that carbon so lively, it's putting that energy back up underfoot. This board has snap, not just because of the camber profile in it, but because of all the carbon in it. It is a very reactive board. So when you load that camber section up, you roll back on the tail, that carbon takes over and it springs you. This board just wants to boost higher. You're going to notice when you ollie off a roller, a side hit, cat track gap, using a fat skier kit as a launch ramp, you're going to pop. You're going to get in the air. This board just wants to boost. That's just how it is. And when it comes to jumps, small, medium, large, it's got you covered. It's more at home on medium and large jumps than a small jump because, well, it's got a ton of spring in it. You want to be laid back, you can let the lip throw you, but I recommend that you load that camber section, pop off that lip, and prepare to boost even higher. This board will get you in the air. Not gonna lie, this board's a bit of a chore to butter if you have weak legs or it's the end of the day and you're fatigued. If you don't and you know how to really press into it, you're gonna be fine. So you have this sweet spot right where the camber meets the rocker. That's gonna be the ideal spot to butter on the nose. You wanna get your weight outside the binding, really press into it, and you've gotta muscle it. A little speed goes a long way. It's going to wanna rebound. You're gonna feel that reaction from the carbon. It wants to snap you right out, so it's gonna fight you the whole time. With the tail, it's the same thing, except that rocker section is a little smaller. So you're really just sitting outside that back binding, really pressing into it, and then it's gonna pop you back out. This kind of translates to how this board will jib. A little speed, a little muscle, go a long way, but you have to know right where those sweet spots are to engage those flex points. So once you figure out where those are, what you want to do, you get your weight outside the binding, you're on that rocker in the nose, you're really locking in that nose press, it's going to spring out the end. With the tail, it's the same thing. It fights you, it springs when you actually engage that camber and pop out. When you go sideways on this board, it will slightly cradle around the feature, but it doesn't clap out. You're almost doing a slight balancing act on it just because of how much carbon is in this board and the thickness of the core and whatnot. But if you know how to jib, you'll be fine. If you don't, well, you should probably learn. So here's the thing about this board. It's got a smooth and powerful edge-to-edge transmission. You can feel that carbon in the sidewalls. So it's got that carbon slime wall in there. You can feel that power. And while it does grip, it just doesn't feel as locked in. Like it wants to just push more power and slingshot you right out of the turn. It doesn't want to just stay locked in and just swoop. So this board, really reactive, really powerful. It wants you to kick your knee into the center of the board, drive that carve, really lay those trenches, go a little bit faster. This is a board for just zipping around people in the middle of the run, or for just laying it over and looking at people and pointing at them and being like, yeah, that's right, I just did that. If you can carve, this board's great. If you can't carve, well, you should probably learn and probably don't need to be on this board. Overall, short, tight, quick carves, medium, mellow carves, deep, hard, long carves, Euro carves, it's got you covered. Just know that it's got a little more power and rebound out of it. So when you apex that carve, you're gonna find yourself kind of snapping right out and ending more upright before you transition over from your toe to your heel or your heel to your toe. Who's this board for? The serious all-mountain freestyle guy that likes a lot of response from their board. It's been a couple years since I've been on this deck. Still solid, still like it, still rides exceptionally well. You get a ton of response from it. It's the big brother to the Shadow Band. That's to be expected that it would have more response. It's just a little more reactive. It's a little more lively. Still an absolutely amazing board. Comparable boards, the Jones Ultra Mountain Twin, the Capita Mega Merc, the Yes Standard Unink. Binding recommendations, the Ride C8, the Union Atlas, the Bent Metal Solution. This has been my review of the Ride Algorythm. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you gonna buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications, that way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.